Hi, I'm Luke. Today on Auto Darts, we are going to go over the D-Dart Tempest Blaster. This blaster is one of the most exciting offerings of this year, along with the Perseus and maybe a few others coming from Hasbro. Now, as usual, I am not a review channel, but I will review any blaster that I'm really excited about, which means that most of my reviews are going to be fairly positive. That's just sort of forewarning here, but this blaster was shown at Toy Fair, and I've been really excited to get my hands on it. Foam Blast and Qualcomm S7 both got this before me, so they already have some great videos, or at least Qualcomm has some great videos on it, and he's already modded it. So thank you, Qualcomm, for getting that up, because it was insightful as far as figuring out what I would do with it. This blaster, we're just gonna bust this out of the package here. Now, this is not a true unboxing because this is the second one I have. We'll get to this one a little later in the video because I have already modded it, and I may even do a mod guide depending on whether you all think that's great. Please hit that like button as you're watching this because it makes a big difference in the YouTube algorithm and my ability to make more videos. So this is a unique blaster. It is a around the wrist grip action single button with an on-off switch. These blasters are available at Target online. Currently is the only place you can get them, along with their website directly, I believe. I am looking at carrying these blasters, but I have to figure out if it makes financial sense. Target has these for $29.99, which is higher than a Strife price, but given its novelty and uniqueness, I think it's a pretty good buy overall, but we'll get into that a little more in depth here shortly. I am going to pop open the battery tray, which I know takes 4 AAA batteries. I saw AAA on the box when I opened this, and I was wondering, why would you bother with AAAs? My complaint being, I know the battery life cannot be very good. Now, one thing is this battery door always seems like a little bit of a trick. They sort of double down. There's a good latch, right? And then on top of that, we've also got a lever, or a screw rather. So inside we've got 4 AAAs. I fired about 3 shots with the AAAs on my other one here that I modded and immediately ripped it apart. Amazingly, the whole mod only took me less than an hour to rip apart, put back together, test fire, and be ready to go. So it's really a fast mod. I would say it takes less time to mod than a Strife, which is saying something considering it is a flywheel blaster with a pusher. So the way this pusher works is we've got this ratcheting system here, and a small hammer, a plastic lever, literally rotates around this bezel, and after it leaves one of these notches, it pounds down, and that's what you see right here. Now, this is just incredibly clever because, as Qualcomm figured out, it can fire really, really fast. As fast as you can rotate this barrel, from what I can tell, you will get darts through the flywheels. Now, the problem with the stock flywheels, of course, is that the spacing is very large. I can fit my pinky through this. This feels like it must be 44 or something. I could be wrong, but it seems even looser of a fit than even a standard 43.5 cage that comes in, say, a Strife or a Rapid Strike. Now, the reason I'm excited for this blaster was not about the rate of fire, it was really about the novelty of the shape, because holding 1 or 2 of these just seems like a really fun way to play. It feels a little bit like Ember Celica or, I don't know, like Mech Warrior. Not exactly, but you kind of feel like you've got integrated hardware. With that ratcheting mechanism, all that needs to happen in order to fire it is for this to rotate. Each time this rotates, the hammer will strike forward, pushing a dart into the flywheels and firing it. So in practice, let's take a look at that, and we're going to really immediately here get to one of the issues. You guys remember the stockade? Okay, so even stock is kind of fun. You can pretty easily get off 1 single shot, but the rate of fire is only about 3 darts per second. So overall, we're getting mid-50s at best on the stock blaster and on the modded blaster with high crush worker wheels the foam blast cage, which I will soon have in the shop, we're getting around 110, at least over 100 FPS. I think if we increase the crush on this cage or changed the actual flywheels, we could probably up this considerably, since it is ultimately just a normal flywheel blaster. It is a pretty fun little blaster as far as how it works. Now, the exciting part with this really comes to this feed mechanism. When you run it normally, that hammer goes toot, 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 toot. But simultaneously, you can literally just rip through them manually. Now, to show you this, I can't really do it on this existing one because I went ahead and modded one and the flywheels are a lot faster. So this is the modded version that I've made. I replaced the entire gear motor with a better quality gear motor, and more importantly, just a faster motor that could take 3S. Now, I did not mess with actually replacing the motor in the gear housing. I just stayed with the stock one, and I will have this exact model motor for sale along with a kit for this whole blaster if people are interested. Now, one of the other things that I really don't like about the blaster, of course, is this on-off button, and you'll notice on my modded one, despite having a LiPo inside here, this doesn't do anything anymore. So this one's been set up for a single trigger, which means everything is activated on this one trigger. I have a value MOSFET board, the Outer Darts value MOSFET board in here, and it's powering the pusher, the and the two flywheel motors, so 3 motors on the one switch. That way, I didn't really think that this switch would hold up long term. Now it might, so you might be able to try just wiring it directly and see how it goes, but for a $5 board, it seemed like a much easier solution. So this one is now single trigger. And overall, it works fairly well. We did get a few misfires here, and part of that has to do with the darts, which brings me to the next complaint I have about the blaster, and that is the darts that come with it are significantly shorter by at least 3/8 of an inch, maybe 8 millimeters, about like that, than a normal dart. And I do not understand why any company would make a blaster that doesn't use compatible ammo. The Ninja blasters use this dart, which actually fires in here perfectly because it is also shorter. The difference with this, though, is that the Ninja blasters still shoot the long darts. If you put a full-size dart inside this blaster, the heads drag on this rail. Now, Qualcomm already did this, and I'm going to do this myself too, is to just cut this rail off and risk the darts falling out forward. Ultimately, I will cut this rail off and I will make a 3D printed ring that slots in here and glues in place. That way you can use full-length darts and not have to worry about it. I really think this blaster is going to be crazy popular. It is a lot of fun to mod, fairly easy to take apart considering how complex it looks, and in single fire or single trigger mode, it is really viable. I mean, my mod setup currently, and this is somewhat due to what I had available at home in my shop, but this is 2 Krakens for the flywheels, a 3S 550 milliamp battery that I sell in the shop, and then Worker High Crush black wheels. I'll probably switch to a smooth wheel, but these just happen to be what I had at home because I was building Jupiters. The other big flaw with this, which you can probably guess, is that runaway. Now, there is no motor braking on that MOSFET chip, so I am going to be redoing a board just for this blaster that will do motor braking and single switch for both circuits. That way you don't have to do 2 different boards inside. And that way, I think we'll get this down to being able to snap, even at this high rate of fire, being able to snap off 1 or 2 shots at a time. Certainly no more than 2 if you just tap it. And I think that's going to make this a really functional blaster. I'm also going to work on a way to hang this on a lanyard because it is missing any sort of sling attachment point, stock attachment point. It's maybe not a stock attachment point, huh? But we will work on some sort of hook that I'm going to integrate right back here. And I'm always excited for new blaster season. I think the Tempest is a pretty great offering for pretty unique. I think kids would love it in its unmodded format, but I think it's a little wimpy in that format, and I think where it really shines is upgrading that gear motor, upgrading those flywheel motors and the flywheels. Really easy to do, really quite simple to take apart. It looks really crammed in here, but it's not honestly that bad. Ultimately, I was able to pretty easily fit the 550 battery in here. And I think for not too much, you know, kind of standard flywheel mods, you can have a really great secondary, or as Wacom put it, a room clearing blaster, because at this rate of fire, it really, really dumps. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. I do plan to do a tutorial on this if people are interested. If you are interested in a tutorial for this blaster, please let me know in the comments and hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. Lots more to come. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm out of darts.